good. Yeah, there's a good angle. All right. So we're going to get rolling. This is our fourth and concluding artist interview for uh, the number of artists that have helped us bring Unbroken to life. Um, Today we're with Todd Lockwood. Todd did an absolutely magnificent, what became the dust jacket and cover for the fully signed edition, which is the most popular edition we have because all of the writers uh, are signing this edition. Um, Known Todd for a long time. Todd does. I'm going to ask him to sort of enumerate a little bit, but he's done just a ton of work with Sean and Graham Oak, in addition to a bevy of other things. So Todd, hey, thanks for taking time to talk with us today.
Absolutely.
So, before we get into the specifics of Unbroken, like lay out a little bit of your sort of history and then towards the end, maybe talk about some of the stuff you've done for Sean, because I know you've done a number of his anthology covers, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. For a while there, Sean liked to tell people he had his own artist. But I'm probably best known for my work on Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering, which includes the covers for R.A. Salvatore's Drizzt series. We had a long run together. Um, but if you play D&D, those are my dragons. Um, one of the art directors at Wizards of the Coast, he's not there any longer, but he told me he thought that my work influenced Magic as much as any other artist, just by virtue of cleanliness of read and action and color and stuff. So I've been around, and it's nice to see the influence my dragons have had on dragons around the visual fantasy world. Um, because I felt like I was fixing a lot of just dumb mistakes that people made illustrating dragons.
Mm.
Um, so that's gratifying. But then Wizard of the Coast laid everybody off, and I've been freelancing. And in that period is when Sean and I became friends. It's been close to a couple decades now, I think. Back when he was just selling signed copies of books off his signed page. Um, I met a bunch of authors that way too. But when Sean accrued cancer bills that he couldn't afford to pay off. And Terry Brooks suggested that he had a short story that Sean could sell and put the proceeds to his cancer costs. And between them, they concocted this idea for the first anthology. Was that
Unfettered.
Unfettered, right?
Yeah.
And I donated that cover. Um, but prior to that, in order to get on a list as a published author, in order to apply for some of Stephen King's sisters' cancer relief or medical debt relief program, he had to have covers on two of his books that he was offering. He didn't have covers. So I gave him the cover for Grim Oak and for Fellhammer, and I just
Mm.
donated those to him. And I donated him a story for Unfettered because I wanted to help him out. And um, it went amazingly well. It became a thing. He's continued to produce these books and help people, which is one of my favorite things about Sean is that he's generous and empathetic and he's one of the most giving people I know. Plus, he's genetically happy, which I
Yeah.
like people like that.
Yeah. That's a good way to say it. He has a certain sort of vivaciousness that's infectious. He's always smiley. Even when he delivers bad news, he's smiling. It's something about him. He's just a happy minded, happy soul.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So you
So
you did Unfettered, and then Sean's done, I think, three Unfettered volumes. He's done some Unbound volumes. I know you've done at least some of those. Yeah,
Yeah, I did a cover with his mom on it.
that's
I
right.
did a cover with his dad on it. The first Unfettered had Sean on it. I made him pose for that.
That's right.
Um, but I did Unbound with, oh, shoot, see how many of those I can find.
I think he's done at least two Unbound
At least
anthologies.
two, yeah.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, those unfettered um, covers are beautiful. That one with the egg might be my favorite unfettered. Is it
uh,
is it wait a minute. Is the egg an unfettered or an unbound? I've forgotten.
um,
It's like a
let's
dragon's
find
egg.
out because I can't keep track of all of this. Where is the share screen button? Right there, share.
While Todd's looking for that, if you go to the Grim Oak page, I know many of you are probably already Grim Oak patrons, but you'll see the just oh yeah, there's unfettered. You'll
See,
see the bevy
I'm
of
not getting a preview of bypass the system private window picker and directly access your screen and audio. Yes, allow. Do you see the unfettered cover?
yeah, yeah, we can
All
see your
right.
whole desktop.
In the
Oh yeah, there
preview,
you
I'm
go.
just I'm just seeing my own face. So yes, we know that so that's the original cover, for the first Unfettered.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it's gorgeous. He's got chain's been broken, symbolically sort of free of his cancer and his debt.
I'm
Um,
trying to close this window now, and my computer is having problems with that. There we go. Um, Let me orient this a little differently. I don't need my calendar open back here.
but that's the anthology that in some ways launched Grim Oak Press.
Yes, yeah, this was the one that paid off his cancer debt and started this whole thing. It became, I believe, Grim Oak Shield. Is that what he called it?
Yeah, that's the foundation. He built that up. I think they had a short hiatus, but I think they're coming back strong this year with it. Um, oh yeah, this
There's
is
there's the one with his mom,
yeah. I think this was Unfettered too.
Unfettered 2. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a beautiful cover.
this was fun to do. Um, I always enjoy working for Sean. He's one of my favorite art directors, hands down. Um, because he trusts his artists. He chooses artists he can trust, and then he trusts them. Go
Yeah,
figure.
yeah. Sean, a lot of the covers that he uses have an emotional center. A reason.
Yeah,
Um, and I mean, obviously, all of the Unfettereds, it's it's quite explicit.
I thought we'd
Um,
have Unbound in that same folder there, but you don't.
uh,
Who's in there?
himself, and then his mother, and then his father.
Yeah, here's the Unbound cover. If it will open, please. Open. We can do it the hard way. We can just open Photoshop.
um, when you did the covers for that represent his mother and father, did you work from sort of photographs? Because it,
Yes, and I would like to find the Unfettered 3 because that was a process. I had one good photo of his mom that worked. Here we go. There's
okay,
um
yeah, that's Unbound. I think the first Unbound.
yeah, this is the first Unbound, and this was loads of fun to do too.
It's kind of interesting with the naming because when I was naming Unbroken, I wasn't actually explicitly looking for something that started with un.
Right.
Um, but obviously, Sean had suggested to me the idea of producing the anthology. So maybe it was in my head, but I was looking for something thematic with the idea, the ethos of the anthology, and it just popped into my brain. But I'm really happy for the sort of association that it has. We
Hmm.
even used the same font for the title that Sean used for Unfettered because it's kind of a
It feels of
spirit.
a family.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's kind of the stepson or something. Yeah, that's a
Let
great picture.
me find Unfettered 3. It's not in that folder, so I'm going to have to do a search. As you can see, I just have files everywhere.
Yeah.
They claim to be organized. They try to be organized.
So I think that when Sean chose the uh the subject matter for the covers of 2 and 3, he chose his
Oh,
parents.
Unfettered 3. Oh, go ahead. Tell me.
Um, and then but I think it was posthumous. So
Yes,
sounds like you
both of
found
them.
a good photo for his mom with his dad. Did you also have some photos to work from or?
I had some photos of his dad from when he was younger, and none of them was appropriate for the piece at hand.
Mm.
Um, but I noticed all the ways that Sean looked like his dad.
Oh,
And so I found kind of a guiding photo just for the pose to start with and establish the lighting and stuff. And then had Sean pose and to be his dad. And then I modified his features as much as I could.
yeah.
Of course, I went back and forth with Sean.
So we
Um,
can add model to the list of professions that Sean can claim.
right, right. So let's see. In my reference folder, oh my goodness, can I find his dad? Here we go. So these were all the pictures of his dad.
Yeah,
And none of them was perfect for this book, but this one in the lower left corner, when I saw that, I thought, oh my God, I see Sean there.
yeah,
I
I
can
do
see
too.
the Sean in him.
Yeah,
This one above, I can see Sean when he's smiling. So I had this was one of the panes of reference I had open at any given time when I was working on this.
yeah,
And here, yeah, okay, here I combined. This was the original photo I found that had the pose and the lighting that I thought was going to work. And so I duplicated that with Sean and then put the photos that looked most like Sean around it. And this one was especially useful in the lower left corner here.
yeah.
Uh,
That's really it's cool to see the sort of process you use to arrive at the.
right. So, oh, just close. Would you choose? Um,
um, so Sean and I are friends, and I've been in not all, but most of these anthologies that we're discussing. Oh, that's a great sketch.
yeah, that's one of the first drawings where I'm working out, making sure that the likeness
Oh
is
yeah,
shown. Here's some of the thumbnails for that cover. It's Last Arrow. I didn't call it Unfettered anything. I called it Last Arrow because that was the
mm,
title of the short story that he dedicated to his dad.
mm.
Um,
Yeah, I
thumbnail.
love seeing that.
And
That's
this is just to establish the masses and the movement and the balance of the composition.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I've got a layer with the Sean reference here now, and you can see where I've moved away from it and where I've used it,
yeah,
and build the figure first, little by little. Start working on the tree, which had to be super gnarly. I
that's
love
really
painting.
cool.
I love painting trees, rocks, and clouds and mountains. Those are my favorite things to paint.
Is that right?
Yeah, in those particular order. Rocks for sure. I love painting rocks. I don't know why. Rocks just speak to me. Maybe there's something wrong with me. I don't know.
No, that's
Just
good.
saying that a little bit. Somewhere along the way, Sean was talking about the apples on the tree and how he was going to be giving out crystal apples to his top purchasers. So I said, well, then I should make all the apples on the tree look like they're crystal. And
Oh
he said, oh,
yeah.
that would be cool. And so, yeah, I made kind of a nightmare for myself
It's a beautiful cover.
because, yeah, I had to have reference of crystal apples amongst everything else that I referenced. There you go, apples, just so that I could get a feel for how light
Mm,
reflects from both sides of the surface. Like there's reflections, this reflection and this reflection down here are the same lamp. One's reflecting off the outside of the apple and one's reflecting off the inside of the apple, even though it's solid.
that's amazing.
And so none of those was perfect, but it got me close enough to, let's just jump to the finished piece here so we can move on. But
I mean, that's a detail that, I've seen crystal apples. I would never have imagined it wouldn't have stayed in my memory to include like the interior.
I'm I'm a detail-oriented guy. Anybody who is familiar with my body of work can go, oh yeah. You think about Kali Prakriti or Cerberus or the War of Angels. Um, yeah, I guess that was the final. That
Yeah,
was
that's
really 5 years ago. Man, oh man, I wanted to zoom in on some of these apples here. Oh, and I brought one of the butterflies from the mom painting into this one.
mm,
But
I
yeah,
love those kinds of details.
every apple had to reflect the light source on both sides and also pick up on the fact that the light comes through the leaves as little windows. It's not a single light source, it's many,
Yeah,
and every apple will have a different orientation to the light source. So
that's yeah, that's remarkable. I wouldn't. This is why I've told others. For me, what you do is the closest thing to real magic, because it's so far out of my skill set. How you can, it's a gift I wish I had, but I absolutely do not. But the detail in that breathes so much authenticity into the image, even though I couldn't have told you why, the way you just explained it.
yeah, well, that's the nuts and bolts of illustration. That's the part that makes the oh, there's the cancer or whatever, the PTSD lurking up there in the tree. I don't know if you can see my cursor or not, but
Yeah,
I'll put it dead center. Um, evil little thing.
yeah,
Yeah, and some of the mom's butterflies coming to join the image.
yeah. That's a beautiful tie. I hadn't actually picked up on that till you showed it to me. Yeah, there's a kind of a continuity inside those. That's
Well, I feel like Sean is as much family as anybody I treasure. You
yeah,
choose your family, right? You
yeah,
had
the
the
found
family
family.
you're born into, and then there's the family you acquire along the way.
Yeah,
And so I really, I wanted to really put my heart into these pieces. And it starts with the emotion and the idea and the basic imagery, and then you lay it out the way I did. But then you got to solve all the nuts and bolts stuff. You got to know where the lighting is at the beginning so that you can light your model correctly. That's why you do the thumbnails and the preliminary sketches so that this biggest source of light back here, putting a glow around the stag, is also the most important light on the figure. And then that separates the figure from this darker background, which helps him to pop and be the focal point of the painting.
Yeah. Well, let's
Um,
so now that we see the, you know, the master and the craft here, let's talk about the cover for Unbroken.
okay, let's do that. Let me really quick just hit on the
Yeah.
actual Unfettered 3, which was this one.
Oh, yes, that's yes.
Yeah, with the
This was Unfettered 3. That's right.
yeah, with the phoenix egg
I
hatching.
love this one. D- did Sean, did you do also one that was Green Fire?
Yeah, we did a variant for Emerald City Comic Con that I made it green fire.
Yeah.
Made it green. I kind of like that one better. It's
Yeah,
kind of cool.
they're both so good. This is one of my favorite covers of in Sean's anthologies. Just, on the the image. But I had thought that that was one of the Unbound. I must be misremembering. I get lost in how many anthologies he's done.
Yeah, that was Unfettered 3. So I'm not sure what he called the anthology that I called Last Arrow. I called the painting Last Arrow because that was the title of the short story.
It must have been one of the Unbound.
It might have been because I see Unbound Alias here. What is that taking me to?
'Cause he did
Something unfindable.
he's
Okay.
done three Unfettered, he's done two Unbounds. I think he's doing
Yeah,
another Unbound.
Unbound 2 was the last arrow.
Mm, yeah, that makes
So,
sense. And now he did this Unavowed, and now he's doing the Grimoires.
yeah, I donated older pieces for those or sold second rights for those. Those are
Yeah.
older paintings. One of them never got used by the client who bought it, so it was um, fine for Sean to use. That was did I call it? Oh, how am I going to find it now? Mhm.
Because I think
Well,
he's
one
done
of them. Hmm?
five Grimoires so far, five or six.
Yeah, but the original painting, well, it might, no, I just looked at that folder. Well, let's not dwell on me flailing around in my files trying to find something.
Yeah, let's talk about Unbroken. So the
Yeah, let's do.
genesis there was after Sean and I, he made the suggestion that I do the anthology. The first thing I did was I started reaching out to writers, see if I could field a table of contents. That went better than I ever could have imagined. So then all of the other needs started to sort of present themselves. And the first one, of course, is great art. Um, and I think, one of the very first names, if not the first name that Sean mentioned was Todd, partly because they're friends, partly because Todd has done, well, he's a fantastic artist, but he's also done so much work for Sean on anthologies. So we reached out to Todd, explained to him my predicament and kind of what we were trying to tackle. And Todd, gracious man that he is, jumped in to help.
Yeah,
Um,
I offered to donate a cover because I
yeah,
had done it for Sean, and it was a similar situation. Um,
yeah,
yeah,
like
that's how we look out
almost
for each other.
identical situation,
Yeah,
separated
yeah,
by 12 or 15 years.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
You had debt you couldn't manage, and Sean was creating a way for you to manage it. It was the least I could do.
yeah. So, I mean, my gratitude continues from that moment you said yes to this moment. Um, and part of it was I've been a huge fan of your work, and I still discover it. Like just at one of the last conventions we were both at, somehow I had missed a piece that you had done that sort of rolled in all of the various character types for Dungeons and Dragons. A piece that you had done that I just adore.
I know which one
Uh,
you mean. It's my favorite thing I ever painted for D&D.
if you can find it, we should show it.
Yeah,
It's the classic like tavern scene in an RPG, and it's got every character class.
the background to that painting is that I had just left Wizards of the Coast, and I got a call from the marketing department one day. It was a friend of mine. She was married to one of the other art directors, which I never usually worked for him. But she said, "We have this piece we need. It's a double page ad for Dragon Magazine inviting guests at DragonCon to a party celebrating 25 years of D&D."
Uh,
And she said, we need to have all the iconic characters, and we want to have these iconic moments like the crossed swords and dodging an arrow and casting a spell, stuff like that. And and some of the iconic monsters, especially the ones that are specific to D&D, like the Beholder. But we also have to include turkey drumsticks and ale, and we don't know how to do that. And then where's the share button? And I said, "Oh, that's easy. It's a bar fight."
ah, yeah.
And
I
but
saw this at I think it was Emerald City Comic Con. You had it up in your booth, and you were situated right next to Grim Oak. So I wandered over at one point, was looking. You also had this amazing sort of angels and demons type painting that I had never seen before that I fell in love with. Um, but I saw this
here we go.
D&D image, which I had never seen.
Okay, I thought I hit share screen. Did I not?
It hasn't come up. Oh,
Oh,
there it is.
you got it now? There you go.
Yeah, it just popped up. Yeah, this is so awesome.
It
I
was
mean,
absolutely the most fun I had painting for D&D.
it's all there. I
It's all
remember,
there, dude. You got the
uh,
crossed swords.
yeah,
You've got casting a spell and a sorceress. That's a fighter. We got an orc. Um, here's your classic D&D types. You got a vampire, a beholder, and a um, mind flayer.
yeah.
There's a drow tending bar. We got a tiefling monk kicking the teeth out of a bugbear. Or is he the bugbear? I can't keep them straight. They both have blue noses. Anyway, the smash shield, you got to have a dwarf. Threw this guy in, this gnome with his. This is the only time this lever action repeating crossbow found its way to print, but I had to include him because when we were working on the concept art for D&D, they were thinking about eliminating the gnomes because they weren't sure what to do with them. And so
Oh,
Sam Wood and I, who also worked on the concepting with me, we were like the lead concepting team. He worked on the dragons as well. But we thought, well, what if the gnomes could be like tinkers and they could make cool stuff that, that would be something different in D&D and it would make them attractive maybe to some players. So I did this drawing of gnome with his lever action repeating crossbow, and it stirred up a lot of interest amongst the R&D guys, and it saved the gnomes. They decided they wouldn't
mm,
eliminate the gnomes, although in the end they made them illusionists and not tinkerers. So that was
yeah,
a little disappointing.
yeah.
But
Tinker's more fun.
but yeah, it just sounds like fun if you could devise a rule system. And I thought about it. I talked with one of their guys. His name's not going to come to me, but we talked at length about it. I used to DM, so I used to be into the nuts and bolts of the rules.
Yeah,
There were ways it could have been done. Anyway,
yeah,
you got the dodged arrow. Oh, and the bard up here toasting himself. He no doubt started this fight. I'm sure he had a hand in it.
yeah. And right against the back is the iconic sort of demon. Uh,
Yeah, that was the idol from one of the early players' handbooks, and I
yeah, yeah.
reinterpreted
Legendary.
it as the fireplace just to call back 25 years to the origin, complete
Yeah.
with the thief. The map they're looking at in the lower corner there is from the Tomb of Horrors,
Oh,
which was a really popular, really evil um, module for DMs to throw at their players. You can
yeah,
see the thief down there cutting the ranger's purse, and there's ale and drumsticks everywhere if you look for them. They're
yeah.
flying
I can
around
see some. Let's see one flying right up there at the top.
everywhere.
Yeah, I just love how much. There's anybody who is who's played, especially, in the early years, there's so much nostalgia in looking at this image. And in fact, it had been so long that I remember you having to sort of point out some of the classes that my brain knew it remembered, but uh, didn't remember the names of the character classes.
Yeah, yeah, I have to dig a little bit. I think the one girl dodging the arrow was a Gith Yankee, which I think might be a D&D exclusive. A lot of their monsters are ripped right out of mythology and
Yeah.
fantasy literature. But
Well,
so
let's talk a little bit about Unbroken.
yeah,
Um, the After we had reached out and you'd agreed to donate something, and I remember you said you got any ideas in mind, and the idea I had was really well, there's two pieces of it. One, I had seen an image, a photograph of something of a guy screaming, kind of a metal singer doing a scream that typified for me two things. One, the sort of emotion of anger and grief and frustration all kind of just coming out. And then the second piece was the the collaboration I'm doing with Brandon Sanderson. The lead character is a rock and metal singer, and um, there's a definitive scene in the book about two-thirds the way through where the lead character is effectively auditioning for the band that has kicked him out. And the more important part of it is that he is trying to come up with the words for a song he's been trying to write to deal with the feelings of abandonment caused when his mother left when he was a child. And so it's a real grief ridden moment. And so I've always wanted, ever since I wrote the scene, I've wanted to see that depicted. And so I kind of shared some of this context with Todd. He was into it, and so then, you know, I didn't really. I think we may have gone back and forth once or twice, but mostly it was like, can you work with that emotion? Uh, you know,
and you had sent me these two
th-
images as sort of a key
yeah,
idea thing. Yeah.
yeah, and
The
so
one on the color one on the left was particularly influential.
yeah, the one, and he's got like, if you look really close, he's got like a band of makeup, I think, across his eyes or something.
Right.
Um, there's some there's some spotting on his chest. I don't know if there's a sort of Native American element to this because to be
Yeah.
honest, I can't even remember.
But
Uh,
this was a copyrighted image that we couldn't use,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah,
It was entirely for inspiration.
yeah. It was just a reference, like, this idea of this metal singer um, delivering, screaming out his grief was the idea.
Hmm.
Um, but it was, the other part of it is like when you're dealing with the frustrations of the real world, that where you have um, real health issues, and where maybe the systems don't always work with you to address those the debt that can accrue. uh, all of that frustration and concern and agony were real life things for me, and so the image worked on a couple of levels, and that was just the context I kind of shared with Todd and said these images would be the best inspiration I could provide. Other than I may have written you a paragraph to say some of the stuff I just said.
You sent me a paragraph out of the story
Oh,
that
okay.
defined that moment where he has his catharsis, basically. That's
Yeah.
what was what was going on in my life at that time, kind of dovetailed. And that's that I was and still am going through treatment for prostate cancer. I'm at this point a year out from the treatment, and I don't know whether it was successful yet or not. We're still, testing, looking at blood draws every 3 months, watching my PSA numbers. And at first, it was a little scary. This has been such a roller coaster ride, even after it was done. But last summer, last year, beginning in February, I had the treatment at the end of April. Um, I was talked into doing a drug called Lupron, which they inject into your belly fat and it sits there for 3 months and shuts down your production of testosterone because testosterone feeds prostate cancer, which is one of nature's sick jokes. I had two of those, so 6 months of that treatment. And at first I was handling it pretty well, but your hormones are important for so much more than just sexual function. They affect your uh, retention of muscle, bone density, clarity of thought. Um, it, when you take them away, and ask any woman going through menopause
Mm,
what it's like to have your hormones removed, or even PST, um, PMS, sorry, PTSD.
yeah.
I had PMS is PTSD. I basically, when you take this drug, you have instant menopause or menopause is the joke. And although ladies will laugh because they think it's funny that a man has to go through what they went through. Well, that's fair, but they went through it gradually. When you do this drug, you do it suddenly. And there were some dark moments. And during that whole time, I was cut off from my creative self. It was like there was a wall between external me and internal me where I couldn't access the part of my brain that I needed to draw this picture or write on the things that I've been working on my book projects.
Yeah.
And it was frustrating and scary. I thought, if this treatment doesn't work and I have to be on this shit for the rest of my life, what am I going to do? Because this is cutting me off from the creative heart of myself that's been the most important thing to me since I can remember. From the time I could hold a pencil, I was in my imagination. And I was cut off from being able to interpret that. And it was really scary. And so I struggled with this piece for a long time. First, I had trouble finding a model. There was a guy at the gym that I asked, and he said, "Oh yeah, I actually am a rock singer, or I used to be." I said, "Well, great. Well, you do this?" He said, "Yeah, I'll see if I can find some photos my girlfriend has of me singing, or we could just shoot some. That would be even better." And it just got drawn out and never worked out. And finally, I asked my neighbor, my neighbor's son, if he would pose and see if I have the pictures of him. I have
While
a
you
friend
find
who,
it, there's a couple of comments you should hear. Troy Saunders, who's following along, and hi, Troy. Troy's been a follower of the whole thing and a fan. He says Todd is a fantastic artist, writer, creator, and absolute superb example for all to emulate. So you got a fan there, Todd.
wow,
And
thanks.
Troy then said,
Why
"This
can I
it.
not see the messages?
Oh, they're on Sean's Facebook pro page. So I have a separate
Uh, uh,
window.
uh, okay.
Um, but
I'll
then
just let
Troy
you.
said, this image is iconic on its own. As a cover for the signed edition, it becomes legendary. So
Hmm.
he's a fan of the cover you're about to show.
Did you say Troy Saunders?
Yeah,
Yeah, I love Troy. Hi,
yeah.
Troy. Yeah, Troy's good people. Um, met him at ECCC a couple years ago.
Mm.
Like him, and I see him on Facebook all the time. But yeah, it was a struggle. It was a fight to get this started and then to get it drawn. Um, See if I can find the reference I shot, and then I'll start sharing some progress. All right, this gets us going. So let me hit the share button again. So this was kind of the keynote picture you had sent me. And I got my neighbor to looked like he was in agony and contort his hands. And
Yeah.
this was another friend of mine in Croatia who volunteered to send some photos, and
Oh, nice.
some of the hands were good. Um, here's one of the reference pages I referred to while I was working on it. Um, so in the end, let's see, I usually end up with several um, key pages for my other monitor. I guess this is what I was working on. So let's just go to the history and start to find them. Okay, that was a Frankenstein of my model's face and hands with just some really rough painting over top, just to kind of establish my sketch that way. It's a different way of doing it. So I could move
Yeah.
the pieces around as opposed to drawing it. I would end up drawing over this, I think. I don't know. I had to rely on process so much working on this because uh, my instinctive creative ability to just dive in and have fun with it was still blocked off from me.
Mm,
So I had to use process. And I realized quickly, now you wanted this to be at Wembley Stadium.
yeah.
And I realized quickly that the tedium of scaffolds and lights and stuff was just beyond me at the time.
Mm,
And besides, I didn't want tedium. This needed to be about the emotion.
right.
So I just decided that Wembley Stadium was going to be broken and fractured by this scream because everything is coming loose. So I just started sticking in shapes and textures, and um, I would copy them and then break them and move them around or twist them, distort them. And I mean, some of these shapes on the left began as sort of the shape of those long towers of speakers that hang from the scaffolding
Yeah.
at a rock concert. And even that was too much tedium. I can suggest scaffolding and stuff, but it's really all about the emotion of this scream. And it was the scream that I needed to scream that helped me break through on this. That's why I titled the piece Catharsis. It's because it was cathartic for me
Yeah.
to bust through that barricade. So this one evolved a lot without a tight drawing like you saw me do for Sean's other covers. Eventually, I would get in here and spend more time with the detail and hands and face. Um,
Yeah.
here's a little further along, getting the glows, getting the veins on the hand.
Yeah.
And that's a case where I used my model's hands, but I used the reference you sent, that keynote piece, just to look at the veins on hands because
Hmm.
my model didn't have good vascular development. But that was such an important part of the emotion of that keynote piece that you sent was just the stress in the hands. Little by little, they start to come together. Yeah, I can't see all I save every few minutes so that if something horrible happens, I haven't lost all my work.
Yeah.
Uh, so the finished file is this one.
Yeah. It's it's one of my favorite paintings of all time. Um
And it has
for
a special place in my own heart for
well
all the
that's
reasons stated.
that's one of the reasons I love it. I love that. I mean, not that I don't love the reason why it became so important
Mhm.
for you, but like I it's meaningful to me that you know, the process of you creating it, like you invested this personal emotion in it. Um, so like when I look at this image, I don't only see mine and Brandon's book or the character or even my own reason for needing the anthology. I see, you know, the degree to which it became an important piece for you. And I just love this image to death. Um, I love all the art for Unbroken, but um, this one holds the most sort of special place in my heart for all the reasons we've just discussed.
Well, thank you. Um,
It's got this like it's got that emotion, but it's got the movement. His hair's obviously sort of flailing. Um, and I love that you can kind of see the intimations of the um, of Wembley, like the stage lights and those things are there, but they remain, I guess, distant enough that they don't distract from looking exactly where we want you to look.
yeah, if they were fiddly with detail, they'd have become too important.
Yeah,
And it mattered more to me that the emotion of this scream is just it's shattering everything that had constrained him.
yeah, that's right.
So
That's
the
right.
background needed to be broken so that he could be whole, or something
Yeah,
like that
yeah, I like that.
in visual terms.
So let me read a couple comments, Todd.
Okay.
Um, Eileen Birdsong
Hi, Eileen.
says, she says hi, and then she says, I understand your walk, Todd. It is not a laughing matter. I absolutely love your work. Just know I have two good ears anytime you need them. Um, and then about the piece, she says, this is so moving. And then Miranda Lorenk, hopefully I'm saying that correctly, says, the emotion of this piece is powerful.
Well,
So,
now you know why.
yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously the context helps, but uh, to me, I guess I can't be completely unbiased here, but when someone sees that image, even without knowing your story or my story or even the stories in the book, I think I think there's a question in it. Like, what is the agony or grief or emotion that is driving that scream? Right.
Hmm.
And you know, I think it's a question that begs an answer. And so it works on as art, even without a book, it works. And then as a
It,
book cover, it's
it's
exactly what you
something
want a book to have.
it's something we can all relate to. We've all had an
Yeah,
experience that the only thing we could do was scream
yeah,
or try
yeah.
not to.
Or try not to. One of my favorite bands in the early 80s was a band called Tears for Fears, and they had a song called Shout, and it kind of
Mm,
works off that same idea. It's actually a therapeutic, I think, approach where the invitation was to kind of scream out as a way to try and release some of the inner pain and anger. Um, but what you said is really true. That like for one person it's health, another person it's the loss of a job, for another person it's loss of a relationship or in whatever the thing. Life's just going to deal you dirty at some point, and this instinct to just want to cry out is a real one, and that's what this image does. Um, it's just a glorious image. I mean, I like so much of what you, again, here's my bias. I like so much of what you have shown before, just in this call and other stuff people haven't seen maybe. And we'll give call outs for people to come and if they don't already know your work, where they can find you.
mm.
But
It's
um,
easy. ToddLockwood.com.
toddlockwood.com. And that probably has your portfolio as well as is there a store where they can also purchase?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
totally.
Okay, good. Um, but yeah, this piece of, from what I know of your work, with all of the bias that we've just talked about, is my favorite Lockwood piece.
Well, thank you. It's one of mine. It's one of my favorites.
And the colors are, I mean, the color choices are so great. These blues and violets. Um,
Yeah, purple, orange, and green is one of my favorite color combinations because it always looks a little otherworldly.
mm, yeah.
So
Yeah, and
maybe,
there's levels of that if people decide to read the book, that is maybe the least important detail in the piece, but there's another worldliness about the character and the situation. Um, but that one of the things I love about a piece like this is it's as powerful without, being attached to a book. As a piece of art you'd hang on your wall. I
I
mean,
always want a cover painting to stand alone, to be able to stand alone. They don't always,
yeah. Well,
but
this
when
one does in spades, as far as I'm
they
concerned.
can, yeah, that they make me especially happy.
Another comment from Brian Gressler says, "Great conversation, gents. I'm listening and peeking at the artwork while working." So hopefully, folks are if they have not discovered Todd Lockwood yet, they are now perusing his portfolio. Is your website like pretty um, inclusive of the sheer volume of your work, or is it more select?
No, it's pretty inclusive. I'm just going to open it up here. Hey, no, I need a new window. Is what I need.
I'd love and let's just spend the last few minutes talking just about you and your art. um, there's if you've got it and to show, another favorite Lockwood piece is the one, Todd, you may remember, that I saw at Emerald City. It's got the white and black, um, like angels and demons, like kind of
Oh, the
at
War of
war.
Angels. Yeah.
That piece is so striking. It was the first time I had seen it. I don't, you may have had it for a while, but it's the first time I had seen it was just a few months ago. And so I'd love for people to see that image if you
Am I
have it.
still sharing the screen while I'm flailing around here?
No, no, you're not sharing now, but,
Okay.
uh, and just show whatever you would like. But if that one's
Yeah, I've got it here.
findable, um, that's
This was a personal piece.
oh, the
If
the Angels at War piece.
yeah, yeah. Let me find the best copy here. This would be a good one.
So
Um,
Shaw Stevens says, after seeing and hearing uh, the process of the art, it's going to make reading so much deep. Or I think he meant, thanks for sharing.
okay.
And
You
Troy Saunders says, if you haven't seen Todd's 12 Days of Christmas, it's an absolute must see. I think
Troy
you just put
is
that one up
totally a
last.
Christmas person.
Yeah,
Yeah, here's
yeah.
the War of Angels. Um,
I love this.
in the 80s and early 90s, I dived deeply into Joseph Campbell and then the world's religions and um, faiths. And it was really, really enlightening to see how many different ways the same thing is processed. And it just gave me all these ideas.
Mm,
Uh, and so this was a piece I had wanted to do for a while. I just never had time or cause to do it. But then one day I got a call from Bullseye Tattoo, which is a company that makes oh, I'm forgetting what it's called now. They sell tattoo parlors the basic drawings that they would transfer onto a person to then start tattooing
oh, I
over.
see. Yeah.
But the purpose of this was they wanted several artists, myself and Brum and a couple others, to do promotional paintings. And they said, as long as it looks like a tattoo on a person's back. You can paint whatever you want. So I had this idea that I'd wanted to paint, and putting it on someone's back just absolutely amplified the meaning of it.
Mm,
Um, I had seen it in my mind's eye as just a texture going from dark to light and being angels and demons warring, but now it almost became like a journey up through the chakras with conflict meeting over the heart, but then on up to towards enlightenment. Um, it's another representation of personal struggle.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah. This one's glorious. It's remarkable too as you kind of zoom in, you get to see the detail. That just like in the Dungeons and Dragons, like there's stuff going on, there's personal engagements and um, conflict.
yeah,
Uh,
I'm always happiest when every character in an image has something to do, has an emotion or a purpose that you can read.
yeah, this is um this is up there. This might be in my top three Lockwood pieces. I love this one.
Yeah, well, it's another one that was personal to me.
Yeah, that one's amazing. I can't wait for the day. I hope I live to see the day when someone's got that tattoo on their back.
I know of at least three people who have had it tattooed on their back.
Oh, really? You don't happen
Yeah,
to have
yeah.
photos, do you?
Somewhere I do, yeah. Where
That
would
would be
that be?
amazing to see that.
That would be a trick to find, I think.
Well, don't sweat it, but that I mean, unless you
I,
can, but
I have a notion where I might have come across those recent, one of them at least recently. Um,
and I can't even
and
imagine
if
how
it's not
long
there,
you'd have to
I
sit
won't
in
worry
the
about it. But
lay on the table in order to get a tattoo that large and detailed. I know people do it.
see it here.
But maybe if
Well, anyway, the first person who wrote to tell me that they wanted to permission to use it as a tattoo on their back, and I was fine with that. I said, as long as you buy a print from me, so your tattoo artist has the best possible reference,
yeah.
I'm down with it. Then I get a little remuneration. Anyway, he was a retiring sheriff somewhere in the Midwest who said he'd been looking for something for a back piece that encapsulated all the horror and beauty he had seen in his time working as a police officer.
Mm,
That this did it for him. So that was the first, and there was at least two others, um, which is
yeah.
gratifying as can be.
Yeah.
That's a commitment.
Yeah. Yeah. A tattoo that large and with that much definition, because you're gonna have to have several sessions.
Yeah, you got to several sessions. Yeah, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, I
Uh,
know people who get sleeves and it's several sessions, and
yeah, yeah,
so
back
I can
piece
only
is
imagine.
enormous. Plus all the detail that poor tattoo artist had to just transcribe.
Yeah. Show us maybe show us to close out the some of your 12 days of Christmas.
Yeah, I was just looking
Because
for
I'm
that.
also a monster Christmas nerd, so this will be fun for
Okay.
me. And this is not just the art, but you produced a book, yeah?
Yeah, here it is on my website. You can buy it from me, but let me
So that's
show it
on
to you here.
so when they go to toddlockwood.com, this is one of the things you can purchase. Brian Reynolds, Todd says, Todd's depiction of Artemis and Terry is incredible. I have two prints of his work framed in my office, plus another from the Streams of Silver book, and my
Yeah,
favorite artist since I was a kid.
from the worlds of Drizzt. Um, these are a little. Where's the cup? They still on the border. Probably because they're the time and not by name. That clean thing though. Those are not the files I want to show you. Sorry, folks. Bear with me.
Okay.
It's
When
all
was this last Christmas or the Christmas before?
this came out a couple of years ago. Yeah, I was working on it and I did the Kickstarter. Had to have been 23 into 24.
Okay.
And then I was fulfilling orders at the end of 24 and into 25 even, right before I went under, well, not under a knife exactly under a shit pile of needles.
Mm.
Um, where's the cover? Dum, 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 dum. I just want to start with the cover. Would that be all right? How about this? Here's a PDF. This might work best. Let me take a moment to open. Here we go. So that was the cover.
Oh yeah.
And that's the end papers,
Yeah.
title page. This started, that's my three children and my granddaughter.
Nice.
I started this in 1990 when I
Is that
was
right?
stuck deeply in advertising and trying to find my way out. And a friend of mine invited me or asked me to attend a class at our old alma mater, the Colorado's um, Institute of Art, CIA, on children's book illustration. And that's what he wanted to do. And I thought, I'll be a good friend. I'll go with him. And then I got this idea. And the idea was that if you interpret the lyrics of that strange old Christmas carol
Hmm.
literally, then by the end of things, you've got 12 partridges in 12 pear trees because every day you get a partridge in a pear tree.
Yeah, you're right.
So you got 22 turtle doves and you got 30 hens and so on. And I realized that me, never afraid of detail, that it would get mad quickly, but that it would start out very peacefully. So on the first day, and then I got to do a lot of visual puns and inject some dad humor in here and there. Like this is a partridge in a tree of pears. So it's a partridge in a pear tree.
That's
I don't know if you
funny.
can see that well or not. No, I can zoom in. Okay. So that was the first day of Christmas. And every day I stuck a little symbol of Christmas somewhere. There's the Christmas star. And you can
Yeah.
find the date and the time if you look for it. So on the second day, you get two turtle doves and another partridge. In this time, the pear tree is a pear-shaped cage on a stand. It's like a
Oh,
tree.
that's clever.
Um,
How fun.
and the little illuminated letters were fun too. On the third day, three three French hens. And my interpretation of this, I looked for a version of the song that presented the characters in the order I wanted them to, so that what would happen is first you would clean house. It starts out peacefully enough, but then you clean house, and then the guests start to arrive.
Mm.
The four calling birds were the first to call. Two more turtle doves, another partridge, and another pear tree, so on. And now we've crossed the center line of the book because the right-hand page can't contain it all anymore. Five gold rings, four more calling birds, a third set of French hens. You see how it goes. Here's the partridge in the pear tree.
Yeah.
It becomes madness fairly quickly. Um, the sixth day, six geese a laying. We've got egg production going now.
Yeah.
So there's cakes. Look at all the eggs. Here's an Easter egg back here, which is an actual Easter egg. Um, four calling birds, another dad humor pun. Here's four pelican plumbers on the phone calling somebody, looking at their blueprints. What's that about? Oh, it's about this, the seventh day of Christmas. It's this fountain that he has gifted his true love with. I've
That's
decided that they
that's fun.
alternate gifts, but he gives all the odd numbered days and she gives all the even numbered days, which means
Oh,
she's
that's
generally giving him birds. It
yeah.
seems to work out that way anyway. Um, 5 gold rings are the wreaths they're hanging on the house there.
Mm-hmm.
6 geese are laying. They're laying bricks because we need a patio for
Oh, that's clever.
this big party that we're going to throw. Um, and now the guests are really arriving. Four more calling birds. Got 8 maids of milking. Now we got milk production. So that means that we got everything we need for ice cream. So
Oh,
we can make ice cream. Here come the first 9 drummers. Yeah,
yep.
and to it was nice to break away from the birds finally and paint cows and bobcats and dogs and stuff.
Yeah.
The eighth day, lions, pipers piping, um, 9
Quite the
pig drumming.
menagerie.
Yeah, this is, I think, the first day where I was unable to include everything,
Mm.
but there's at least a representative of everybody. So there's a cow at least. And I've got 8 maids. 3 of them are bobcats and 5 of them are raccoons because I switched up with raccoons. But there is a bobcat peeking under the table over here, though. Um, Star on the tree. You can always find the date somewhere. It's usually a leaf off of their wall calendar in the kitchen. There's the time. 11 ladies dancing. I thought, why not beavers? What the heck? Because they're ludicrous. And then alligators blowing bubbles on their bubble pipes. So they're pipers.
Mm-hmm.
And the 12th day, you need 12 lords of leaping. So I needed for them to be something enormous. Why not inject a large animal into this fracas? There's 11 lady leopards dancing. Some of them have swan tiaras on their heads. So there's 7 swan tiaras. There's just a you can search forever and not find everything.
Yep. Yeah, that's so fun.
And
Holy
then
cow.
it culminates in this mad double spread, um, which does have everything and everybody that wasn't food to be eaten. So I assume some of the cakes are gone
Yeah.
from days ago, but
Wow.
there's still cakes. There's 5 cakes down here. There's 5 more cakes coming out the door up there. Um, all the characters are here. So you could spend an hour with somebody. It's designed to open across 2 laps. So it's perfect for you and your grandchild or your son or daughter.
Yeah. That would be so much fun to sit and pick everything out with, you know, your child or grandchild,
Other
like the
little
Where's
Easter eggs.
Waldo
Yeah, except Where's Waldo always annoyed me because you're looking for that one thing.
one thing. Yeah.
And
This
he
is
does his best to make him hard to find.
well, and this is good
I
because
tried to make everything as easy to find as it could be, considering that there's so many of them. So that's why, like, the leaping lady leopards are all on an arc, which your eye can kind of follow,
yeah,
things like that.
yeah,
Groupings, rhinos are easy to pick out. Um, for the most part, I didn't break up groups, although the the dogs and the maids of milking are scattered about. Um, anyway, and a partridge in a pear tree at the end.
yeah. Todd, that's wonderful. I'm gonna buy a copy of that because I told you I'm a Christmas nerd. I have countless Christmas books. I collect Christmas stuff. I've got all the movies and DVDs. So um, you can you can watch for my purchase. I'll be buying one of those.
Cool.
And I encourage everybody else to buy one.
I do too.
Troy Saunders says, "Don't forget the dropped ice cream cone."
Oh, yeah.
There
Uh,
must have been a dropped ice cream cone somewhere.
yeah, and this, on this page, there's a dropped ice cream cone right there. It's a ruined ice cream cone. But down here, see this little pig with a tear in his eye? He's getting a new ice cream cone.
Uh,
And so he
um,
dropped his ice cream cone, but this nice alligator has scooped him out a new one.
as alligators will do.
As alligators will do. Here's an alligator coming in from the house. What was he doing in there? I don't know, but he's got a string of toilet paper stuck to his foot.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I meant by the Where's Waldo is there's all those little details that will be um, fun. Miranda Lurank says that was an impressive menagerie party.
It was what?
It was an impressive menagerie
Oh,
party.
an impressive menagerie party. Yeah.
Yeah,
A party of the year for sure.
yeah,
The last page is a list of everything you can find in that double spread. And it includes a ruined ice cream cone, and a new ice cream cone, a string of toilet paper, a game of patty cake, a rhino blowing bubbles. So there's things to find, and that goes along with what I was saying earlier about I always want every character to have something to do.
yeah.
Nobody's just standing there unless they appear to be reacting to something.
Well, I think that like everything you've shown us is, you know, a, a perfect example of like the attention to detail that you inject into your art. Um, and it shows an impressive like diversity because we know you can do dragons like crazy, but we've seen you do um, figures, um, uh, sort of representational things. And we saw the all of the Christmas stuff, which was fantastic.
Oh yeah, I was
So
starting to say I started that in 1990 when my kids were little. It was a love letter to my kids.
yeah,
But I assembled a mock-up with Xeroxes of the drawings and started sending it around looking for a publisher. Nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted the unfinished work of an unknown artist, especially one so complicated. So I had to set it aside and keep making a living. And
yeah,
then TSR hired me, and then Wizard of the Coast bought TSR, and then the Drizzt covers came along one after another, and then I wrote a book for some reason.
yeah.
And um,
We haven't even talked about your books. Let's take a minute for that. So I know
oh, sure.
there's the first one. I should know this, but I don't. Is there a second one that's close to publication? Where are you at with it?
Um, the Summer Dragon came out in 2016, God help me, 10 years ago, on Soren's birthday. Came out on
Oh,
May 3rd. So Maya and Soren are the same age. The sequel has been in my editor's hands for 3 years,
oh,
um, which is a long time, and I'm
it
starting to
is.
get
Yeah,
really annoyed. But part of that was because Daw Books, which was part of Penguin Random House, got sold to Astra Publishing in China, and that shook everything up, and you know, everything changed for her, and so it was very distracting. And then, as I remember, Tad Williams turned in a manuscript that she said was kind of a mess, and so she had to work on that for a while. And he does not write short books,
no, is there big?
so she's reading it now, and I'm waiting for her to get back to me
Yeah.
because I'm anxious to get that out there into the real world.
Brian Reynolds made a comment, looking forward to the next book. So he must be a fan of your books.
Yeah, that would be the Autumn Dragon. The Summer Dragon did really well. It got great reviews. I made enough money to write for a year, working on book two. I went down some blind alleys and then ran out of money and had to work. Had to work too. I had to keep working.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it came together, and I'm proud of it. I think it's a good book. It doesn't roll as quickly at first as the Summer Dragon did, but if I may say, the finale is a slam banger. The last half of the book is there's lots of surprises and twists, and character arcs. Again, a character can't be there if they don't have something to do, if they don't have a purpose for being there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even throwaway characters develop some little quirk or tick or personality trait that I always think of. The day I became aware of that in writing to a serious extent was reading The Shining by
mm,
Stephen King. And early in the book, um, he has an encounter with some officious little prick. That's the character's name. That's the only name he has. He's an officious little prick. But every now and then he takes out his handkerchief and he goes, and then he peeks at it. And that just struck me as funny, but it's like a trait that you remember that character for, even
hmm
though he's a throwaway character. You walk in, you talk to him, he shits in your pie, and then you leave and go on to the rest of the book.
Yeah. I remember that very line because I'm a Stephen King fan. I remember that line.
Oh yeah, he's one of my writing fathers.
Yeah. Me too. I did
Eh,
read the very first book I ever read was Where the Red Fern Grows. I was like third grade because
I
I'm a
never read
dog
that one.
guy. And then I read sort of Shannara in middle school, which was pretty foundational. And then I just kind of got gobbled up in whatever my English teacher was making me read until I graduated high school. And I think I told this story on one of the other Zooms, but I was in the curio shop in Honolulu, and my buddy, who was a voracious reader, I needed something to do on the flight back. He said, pick up a book. And he had read King, and I found Night Shift by Stephen King. And I read that, and it just opened up my eyes and my desire. And then I started to consume everything Stephen King, and then horror, and
I
then I
did
found
too.
the same
Yeah,
same thing for you.
yeah. I read all his, but up to a point. There came a point where I just got tired of the latest possessed thing,
Yeah.
and um, to my shame, that's why I have never read The Dark Tower, is because
Uh,
that started to be a big deal after I'd kind of had my fill of, the possessed furnace, the possessed car, the possessed dog, the possessed hotel, the possessed one. But the thing that kept drawing me back to him was how beautifully he wrote people. His
yeah.
people were real people, and that was the thing that impressed me the most.
Yeah. Yeah. His authorial voice is it's so comfortable. Like it's
Yeah,
there's writers that I'll read for plot and all of that, and then there's writers I read because of their use of prose, and he's one of those.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. And my
yeah,
favorite works of his are the ones that aren't scary monsters from dark places, like the one that became the movie Stand By Me, The Body,
yep,
or Shawshank Redemption. Oh my
yep,
God. Dolores Claiborne.
yeah,
Uh, real people in real situations.
yeah. Those all of not all, three of the four novellas in different seasons were adapted.
Hmm.
Two are more horror. Apt Pupil is, the old Nazi war criminal living next door, and Breathing Method is a horror thing. But those other two that you just named are two of my favorites of his, and they're not really horror at all. They're just character studies.
Yeah, people
Um,
stories.
yeah, it's one of my that's might be my favorite novella collection of all time.
Hmm.
But yeah,
That's a good one. Yeah.
I have to say I haven't read all of his stuff, but I've read most of it, and I've read the Dark Tower stuff. Like if you ever decided to jump back in, it's not as much the possessed thing. It's its own thing. And Roland Deschain, if I'm saying his name right, um, is my favorite fictional character.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
just bar none. Has always been. Sean, I think Sean agrees with me on that. Sean's also a Dark Tower guy.
Okay. Yeah.
So there you go. Not that you need more things to do.
Well, actually, Rita and I are going to spend a week in Palm Springs starting Thursday. And she said, you can borrow my Kindle if you want to put some books on it. And I've been thinking, what would I put on it? Maybe that would be a good one.
Yeah.
Revisit Stephen King on something that's not possessed monsters.
Yeah.
Did you ever read Moorcock? Michael
No,
Moorcock?
I have not.
His Elric of Melniboné was foundational for me.
Mm.
And Corum, the other character, his eternal champion who exists in various realms and sometimes they cross paths. It's very interesting stuff. Um,
I hear people say he's the original grimdark writer,
that's probably
like
fair.
before grimdark was a thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
probably fair. Yeah.
but yeah,
I
yeah, he's
liked
on my to be read pile.
I liked Roger Zelazny a lot.
Yeah,
Nine Princes in Amber was a fun popcorn read.
yeah, I read that when I was first year college
Okay.
years ago.
Uh, One of my favorite science fiction books was one of his. I'm trying to come up with the title. Um, oh, it'll come to me tonight at 3 in the morning. There are people who take on the aspect of Hindu gods and lord it about over the muggles on this planet. And eventually you learn that they access these powers because there's a spaceship orbiting the planet that has technology that the population doesn't have access to. Um, a, a Lord of Light, that's the title. A
Oh
Lord of
yeah,
Light.
I haven't read it, but I know the title. I think I even own the book.
Yeah, it's a really good book. My
Troy
favorite
Saunders.
science fiction book of all time is The Mote in God's Eye by Niven and Cornell.
Oh,
It's it does what my favorite science fiction books do, which is comment on the world we live in by metaphor or parable.
hmm.
It's a, it's a future situation that you can apply to us here now. Really compelling and very imaginative. Some,
I've seen that in the bookstore. I don't actually own. I haven't read it, and I don't actually own that one.
hmm, that's a
So
good one.
if that's your favorite one, I may pick it up. My favorite science fiction, it's actually a quartet, is the Hyperion and Endymion books by Dan Simmons.
Don't know those. Hmm,
Yeah, Dan's my favorite writer of all time. He passed away
hmm.
in February. Um,
Oh,
he had been ill for a while, and
hmm,
he had a stroke that eventually hospitalized him and took his life. Um, but he's just my favorite writer. He hadn't really, he was in the middle of a book that he'd been writing for many years called Omega Canyon, which is kind of about the building of the atomic bomb.
hmm,
And every most of the stuff he did, especially in the last half of his career, traded upon big literary figures and works like Charles Darwin and um, the Iliad and the Odyssey. Like he took big figures and concepts and wove like new stories around them. So I don't know what supernatural element, if any, because he actually wrote some crime noir stuff. Like he was a very diverse writer. Anyway, it was the first time like a writer in my past that like it actually really affected me because I'd met a few times. We weren't friends, but I'd met a few times. But his work was so important to me. I felt like we had this relationship, and so his passing was kind of tough for me.
hmm.
But I always tell people like if they haven't read his Hyperion books, his the first duology, like they're you can put them in the company with all of the greats. They're amazing books.
All right. Dan
So
Simmons.
I mean, if you need more stuff for your Kindle,
Yeah, yeah.
his book,
I may have to get myself a Kindle.
there you go.
I don't have one because
His book,
when
Summer
Rita
of
goes to Palm Springs, she sits by the pool and reads. So I can't read if she's reading.
Oh, yeah, I bet you could find one secondhand for cheap.
That's
Um,
possible. Well,
but
there's that. I could
his
actually
books,
buy a book.
or just buy a book. His book, Summer of Night, which is ostensibly a horror novel. Did you ever read It by Stephen King?
Which
It, the
it
book It,
that was one of those that came along when I was in a period where I was just getting tired of
tired of it,
scary
yeah.
clowns and creepy possessed things.
Well, I bring it up because Summer of Night is also a sort of epic horror novel where the protagonists are sort of that 11-year-old age. They're on the cusp of not adulthood, but like falling from the innocence of childhood, but they're old enough to be capable of doing things, you know?
Right,
And I
right.
love that age for a protagonist because they still also are young enough to sort of believe in stuff, like, you know, whether
Hmm.
it's monsters or the magic that can kill monsters. And
Something wicked this way comes.
that's a good one, yeah. And
Yeah.
and Summer of Night is like to me is like it times a million. Like
Mm,
it's my favorite book ever. It's one of the
mm.
only books I've ever bought. Subpress did a limited edition, signed numbered. I bought two of them. uh,
Wow. Okay.
my
Summer of Night. And
Summer of Night,
that's
my favorite. And he even said himself, it's the book about which he got the most fan mail. He said, I got
okay.
people all over the world sending me fan mail saying this speaks to my childhood. And he says, you know, they
Right.
can't, and it's about some kids in the Midwest, like
And
that's where it's set. But
that's Dan Simmons also.
Dan Simmons, yeah, Summer of Night, it's my favorite all-time book.
All right.
Um,
I'm going to read that.
and I
My
bought
favorite
two.
all-time book is To Kill a Mockingbird. So,
Oh, that's yeah, it's hard to beat that one. That's
uh,
up there. Um, but yeah, I bought two sub presses, limited editions, with, and my rationale was when I pass, then each of my kids can have one.
right.
But for now, I just double my pleasure, and it does have illustrations in it. It's like 10 or 12 full color illustrations. It's a really nice edition. But that's my favorite book and my favorite writer.
I am ordering it now.
Yeah, tell me what you think of that one. That's that's always whenever I'm on a panel and you know you invariably get asked that kind of a question. It's, I can say that without even thinking. Well, Todd, we're gonna wrap up. I'm gonna do that by first thanking you for being a part of this, for donating your time and your painting and all of the emotion that you invested that piece with. Um, I mean, I think it would have been a banger without the emotion, but you know, like I said, when I look at it, I also see you and you know the energy you invested in it, and I'm grateful and humbled. The piece is amazing. Um,
Oh, thank you. I'm humbled. I mean, it was my pleasure to do it.
yeah,
It was one of the hardest things I did last year, but I really wanted it. I really wanted to do it, and I wanted it to be good. It was part of the struggle. It just made the inability to access my own mind that much harder. But I'm glad it got there.
it did in spades. Like it didn't just come out good, and we've had an immense reaction to it in the Kickstarter. I'm not sure what the number is, but you may know we decided to make available the dust jackets for people to purchase as an add-on,
Hmm.
and we've sold hundreds of that dust jacket,
Well,
just the dust jacket.
cool.
So I think some of those people are just going to use it like art. I think some people are going to wrap the volume that they actually bought with it. You know, they may have bought a different edition. Um, like, you know, maybe they didn't, because we sold out of the fully signed ones. So they might, you know, buy the trade or they might buy the Pacific Northwest edition,
Mhm.
which we still have copies of, and then put your dust jacket on. So yeah, I think it all the way around, it just worked out great.
All right.
So thanks everybody for joining us on the stream. We are gonna Sean's recording all of this, so we'll post this back to the story page, and probably Sean will also put it on his YouTube channel, his Grimwoke YouTube channel. So folks who missed the stream will be able to watch it at their leisure.
All right.
All right. Thanks,
Thanks.
Todd. Have a good
Bye.
rest of your day.
You too.
Bye bye.